Ladies and gentlemen, they say a man in Arizona survived 3 days in the desert with no food, no water, and a broken leg. You know how? Every single morning before the accident, he trained his mind. He told himself, no matter what happens, I don't break, I bend, I survive, I fight. So when that moment came, he didn't panic, he didn't fold, he remembered who he was. Now let me ask you this, what are you telling yourself every morning? Because one day, life's gonna test you too. And if you haven't trained your mindset, it won't matter how strong your body is, your spirit will crack first. That's why this message isn't just a video, it's mental armor. Watch this every single day and your life will never be the same. Before we get into it, make one move toward the strongest version of you. Hit that subscribe button, because around here, we don't just talk about change, we live it. Let's begin. The moment you open your eyes, you're already making a decision, not with your words, but with your focus. You're either stepping into the day with intention, or you're slipping into it by default. And let me tell you this, your morning mind is your steering wheel. Whatever direction it turns, your entire day follows. You ever notice how one bad thought in the morning can spiral your entire day into chaos? One negative comment, one missed alarm, one scroll through social media looking at other people's wins, and suddenly you feel like you're behind on a race you didn't even sign up for. But that's the trap. Because your morning isn't just about coffee and routines, it's about power. It's about choosing how you show up before the world tries to choose it for you. The people who win in life don't wait until noon to find their mindset. They build it the moment they wake up. They don't grab their phone, they grab their purpose. They speak life into themselves before the world can speak doubt. They understand that what you feed your mind before breakfast will decide what you chase after lunch. You're not lost. You're not late. You just need to take the wheel back. Because here's the truth. The day doesn't start when the sun rises. The day starts when you decide to rise. And if you step into that morning with power, focus, and clarity, you shift your entire trajectory. Think of it like a plane. A pilot doesn't wait until 30,000 feet to set the course. He locks it in on the runway. And so do you. So before the noise starts, before the emails, before the pressure, you remind yourself who you are. You declare where you're going. You set that inner compass with strength. Because if you don't steer your morning, someone else will. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's not a trait reserved for the elite, the lucky, or the chosen. Discipline is a daily decision, a quiet commitment you make with yourself before the world even wakes up. It doesn't come with applause, it comes with silence. You won't always feel like it. In fact, most days you won't. But that's the test. Can you still show up when no one's watching? Can you still execute when motivation is nowhere to be found? Because discipline isn't about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's necessary, especially when it's hard. There's a lie we've been sold that change comes in one big dramatic moment. A spark of motivation, a single breakthrough, one powerful speech. But the truth? Real transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the dark. It happens when you get up early and nobody knows. It happens when you turn off the distractions and do the boring work. It happens when you choose progress over comfort. Those little decisions, those tiny choices, they stack. And over time, they form a structure that holds the weight of your dreams. You don't need to feel inspired every day. You just need to decide every day. Decide to keep going. Decide to stay locked in. Decide that the version of you you're becoming is worth the temporary sacrifice of who you are right now. That's the real grind. Choosing discipline over drama, peace over chaos, purpose over pleasure. And that decision? doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. You stop negotiating with your feelings and start honoring your standard. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start saying, this is who I am. Every successful person you admire has mastered one simple habit: showing up regardless. They don't wait for the perfect mood, the perfect energy, or the perfect conditions. They move anyway. They understand that success isn't about giant leaps. It's about small, consistent steps taken over and over again until greatness becomes your default setting. That's discipline. It's not loud, it's not glamorous, but it is powerful. And the best part, you don't have to wait to be disciplined. You just have to choose it today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Everyone wants the big win, the viral moment, the breakthrough that changes everything overnight. But that's not how greatness is built. The truth, it's the small wins, the quiet victories that shape your destiny. Every time you resist the urge to quit, that's a win. Every time you get up when you don't feel like it, that's a win. Every time you follow through on a promise you made to yourself, even when no one else is watching, that's a win. And those wins, they stack, they add up, they compound into something unstoppable. The mistake most people make is thinking that success is this one massive explosion. It's not. It's a series of tiny sparks, daily sparks, unseen, uncelebrated, but deeply powerful. That one workout you did when you felt tired. That one page you wrote when your mind was blank. That one healthy meal you made when fast food was calling your name. None of those things feel monumental in the moment, but over time they start to carve a new identity. They begin to whisper something new to your mind. I'm becoming consistent. I'm becoming unstoppable. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Anyone can go hard for a week. Anyone can post about grinding for a few days. But can you stay the course when it gets boring? Can you execute the plan when there's no hype, no crowd, no external reward? Because that's where the real separation begins. Most people want results. They don't want process. But the ones who win in the end, they fall in love with the process. They get addicted to small progress. They realize that every small win is another brick in the foundation of their future. You don't need to move mountains today, just move an inch. And then do it again tomorrow. Stack those inches. Stack those small wins. Because one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and see a mountain you built with your own two hands. Not from one massive effort, but from relentless commitment to doing the little things that matter. So forget the shortcut. Forget the overnight success story. You don't need it. You just need to keep winning the small battles, because they're shaping the warrior you're meant to be. Your words are not just sounds, they're blueprints. Every word you speak is either building you or breaking you. And the most dangerous conversations aren't the ones you have with others. They're the ones you have with yourself when no one else is listening. That internal dialogue, it's shaping everything. Your confidence, your decisions, your direction. And most people don't even realize they're poisoning their future with the way they talk about themselves. You say, I'm tired. You say, I can't. You say, I'm not good enough. And your brain, it believes you. It doesn't argue. It doesn't challenge you. It just executes the code you've been repeating over and over again. But here's the flip side. You can rewire your entire life by changing your language. You can start speaking energy into your soul. You can start declaring truth over your circumstances, not delusion, direction. Instead of saying, I'm stuck, say, I'm learning. Instead of, I'll never make it, say, I'm not there yet. That one word, yet, can unlock more momentum than any motivational video ever could. Because words carry weight. They are seeds. And whatever you plant grows. You plant doubt, you harvest hesitation. You plant power, you harvest progress. You want to change your life? Start by changing how you talk when you're alone, when you're tired, when you failed. That's where the transformation begins, not in public, but in the quiet spaces where the battle for your belief system is being fought. Speak like the person you're becoming, not the one you're trying to leave behind. Speak victory, even when you feel broken. Speak growth, even when you feel stuck. Speak with clarity, even when the path isn't clear. Because every time you do, you're casting votes for your future. You're setting standards. You're pulling your mind into alignment with your mission. And don't just speak it once. Make it a habit. Make it a ritual. Wake up and declare who you are. Throughout the day, remind yourself. Before you sleep, affirm it again. Because the words you repeat become the walls you live in. And it's time to stop living in limitation and start building something unshakable with nothing but the raw power of your voice. Most people react to life like it's a fire they're constantly trying to put out. Someone says something disrespectful, they explode. A plan doesn't go right, they shut down. A little pressure shows up and they collapse. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery. When you live in reaction, you've already lost. Because now you're letting everything outside of you decide what happens inside of you. And until you take back control of that, you'll stay stuck in cycles you don't deserve to be in. There's a massive difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is instant, it's emotional, it's loud, it's you letting your triggers run the show. But response, that's power. Response is calm, it's controlled, it's calculated. It's not about being passive, it's about being strategic. Because when you can pause, assess, and choose your energy, you're no longer a puppet to your environment, you become a master of it. Think about it. How many situations have gone bad in your life? Not because they were truly bad, but because you reacted badly. You snapped, you panicked, you overthought. And in doing that, you made the moment bigger than it actually was. That's the trap. Life throws tests, not to destroy you, but to reveal your discipline. And if you can hold your center when the world tries to shake you, that's not weakness. That's elite control. You don't need to respond to everything. Not every comment deserves your energy. Not every attack needs a counterpunch. Silence can be a response. Focus can be a response. Progress, that's the ultimate response. Because nothing confuses your enemies more than seeing you unbothered, thriving, and at peace, while they're still hoping you'll crumble. You're not a robot. You'll feel anger, frustration, sadness. That's normal. But feeling it doesn't mean feeding it. Let it pass through, not build inside you. Emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about leading them, guiding them, and using them as fuel instead of fire. So the next time life pushes your buttons, pause. Breathe and ask yourself, am I reacting out of emotion or responding out of power? Because in that tiny space between what happens and what you do, that's where your greatness is born. Nobody can make you feel small without your permission. Nobody can drain your peace, hijack your confidence, or shatter your focus unless you hand them the keys. And that's the hard truth most people avoid. They think life is just happening to them, but in reality, they're allowing too much access. Every time you let someone's opinion define your mood, every time you let someone's energy shift your mindset, you're giving away power that was never meant to be outsourced. You weren't born to live on defense. You were built to lead your space, your energy, your decisions. And that starts by realizing that permission is yours to give. You set the tone. You create the boundaries. You decide who gets close, who gets silenced, and who gets cut off. That's not arrogance, it's survival. Because the more you grow, the more you'll be tested. And the people who can't reach your level will try to pull you back down by attacking your peace. But here's the truth. Your peace is sacred. Your time, your focus, your emotions, those are currencies. And if you keep spending them on people who don't value them, don't be surprised when you feel broke inside. This is where maturity steps in. It's not about becoming cold. It's about becoming selective. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table just because they showed up hungry. Protect your space like it's your mission, because it is. You don't need closure from people who disrespected you. You don't need validation from those who couldn't see your worth. And you definitely don't need to carry the emotional weight of people who haven't done the work to carry their own. What you need is clarity. The kind of clarity that says, I don't owe anyone access to me just because they expect it. You get to decide what gets to touch your mind, your heart, your soul. That's not selfish, it's strategy. So from this moment forward, revoke the permissions you gave out too freely. Reclaim the energy you've been leaking into dead conversations and draining connections. And remind yourself every day, I am the gatekeeper. I choose what stays, I choose what goes, and nothing enters without my permission. Most people run from resistance. They treat it like a warning sign, like a signal that something is wrong. But what if I told you resistance is actually a gift, a teacher, a sign that you're on the edge of something powerful? Because the truth is, opposition shows up where transformation begins. Every time you decide to rise, life will test your commitment, not to break you, but to prove you. People will criticize you, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something they won't. They'll mock your ambition because it reminds them of their own passivity. That's not your burden, it's your confirmation. The higher you climb, the more resistance you feel. Gravity only pulls on things that are moving upward. So if the pressure is increasing, you're headed in the right direction. You have to stop seeing obstacles as interruptions and start seeing them as invitations to level up, to strengthen your character, to sharpen your focus. When someone doubts you, that's fuel. When someone walks away, that's fuel. When life throws you a setback, that's fuel. The difference between average and unstoppable is in talent. It's what you do with the fire. You let it burn you, or you let it forge you. The ones who become unshakable don't run from opposition, they use it. They turn pressure into precision. They turn pain into power. They take every no, every rejection, every failure, and they use it to build the version of themselves that doesn't flinch when life gets loud. They welcome the storm because they know that's where real strength is born. Understand this. The enemy of your progress is comfort, and opposition is the cure for comfort. It shakes you, it tests you, it reminds you that you're alive. So don't complain when things get hard. Lean in. That's the moment you grow. That's the moment your identity is being forged, not by ease, but by fire. So the next time life pushes back, don't fold, don't get bitter, get sharper, get bolder, and say to yourself, this isn't here to stop me, it's here to sculpt me, because that's exactly what opposition does. It shapes the version of you who's been waiting on the other side of struggle all along. There's a moment in every person's life when they realize something powerful. Not everything deserves your attention. The world is loud, full of noise, distractions, and opinions. Everybody has something to say. But if you try to listen to all of it, you'll drown in it. You'll lose your direction. You'll second guess your purpose. That's why one of the most elite skills you can develop is discernment. The ability to separate signal from noise. You see, not all feedback is valuable. Not all opinions are rooted in truth. Most of what people say to you comes from their own insecurities, projections, and limitations. So if you don't filter what you allow in, you'll end up carrying weights that were never yours to hold. That's why you've got to guard your mental gate like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your peace, your clarity, your focus, they all depend on your ability to tune out what doesn't serve you. Just because someone is loud doesn't mean they're right. Just because a message is constant doesn't mean it's relevant. You have to train yourself to ask, is this helping me grow, or is this distracting me from my mission? If it's not helping, it's noise. Cut it, silence it, block it out. You don't owe your energy to every voice that demands it. You owe it to your goals, your values, your vision, Make your circle smaller, sharper, tighter. Count the opinions that matter on one hand. Mentors, people who walk with integrity, people who've done the work, lived the battle, and earned the right to speak into your life. Everyone else, background chatter. You don't need to prove anything to them. You don't need to explain your process to people who haven't even started theirs. You can't build an empire if you're listening to everyone yelling from the sidelines. You can't stay focused on the road ahead if you keep turning your head to respond to every critic. Every time you look back, you slow down. Every time you overanalyze, you hesitate. And hesitation kills momentum. So keep your eyes forward, trust your internal compass, let your results speak. Because when you learn to master discernment, you stop reacting to noise and start moving only to the rhythm of truth. Now it's time to take what you've heard and make it your reality. Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice, by commitment, and by showing up every single day ready to win your small battles. So start today. Start now. If this message hit home, don't just let it sit. Subscribe to the channel to keep fueling your growth. Drop a comment below and share which part moved you the most or how you're going to take control of your life starting today. Your breakthrough is waiting, and this community is here to push you forward. Remember, greatness isn't given, it's earned. So earn it. One day, one win, one choice at a time.